Hey guys, how's it going? It's Alex of Astrology. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to March. As many of you know who've been watching me for a long time, we've been talking about March for many months and the stars do not lie. They do not disappoint. Here we are. And things are a little crazy. Things are a little crazy. I'm still in Australia. I'm sitting here drinking a really nice herbal tea blend to support my immune system and calm my adrenals. So maybe some of you guys want to take a sacred pause and make yourself a cup of tea, because we're about to sit down and plow through a lot of information. We have a lot to cover, and I want to start by sharing the keynotes of what I want to cover here to give you guys a reference point. This is going to be a longer video because we have so much to cover. So the main things that I want to cover, first I want to answer the two questions that I keep getting from everybody. Number one, why is the energy so intense? And again, some of you already know, but we're going to bring everybody up to speed. We're going to get everybody on the same page here. And then I also want to answer the other question that I keep getting, which is, when is it going to slow down? When is it going to get better? When am I going to be able to catch a breath? When are these energies going to ease off? And then we're going to go into some key changes with the planets. We have Saturn moving into Aquarius. We have Mars moving into Aquarius coming up here. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to close with talking about the new moon in Aries on the 24th and talk about what that moon is going to bring in for us. So first question, why is the energy so intense? Well, we can answer that question with one word, and that word is Mars. Mars in Capricorn has come to join the Capricorn party. We've been talking about this. So we have Jupiter at 22, Pluto at 24, Saturn at 29. Today it's March 18th. And yesterday we had Mars come in within a degree of Jupiter, and Mars is the planet of aggression. It's the planet of speed, acceleration. It's full throttle. Anytime we have Mars join an influence, its purpose is to speed things up, accelerate, and quicken. So things are speeding up, and we can expect them to continue to speed up throughout the remainder of March, because Mars will conjunct Jupiter within the next 24 hours. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. Jupiter is like a magnifying glass. It makes things larger. It's the planet associated with abundance and indulgence. So when we have Mars and Jupiter together, this accelerates expansion in the energy field. So things get bigger, they get more intense, they get more dramatic. So I'm just going to say it, in the next 24 hours, this is what we're going to see happen. And then Mars will cross Jupiter and come and conjunct Pluto. It's going to be between Jupiter and Pluto on the 20th, and it will come and conjunct Pluto at 24 degrees on the 22nd. Pluto is the planet of destruction, karma, death, rebirth, transformation, and power. Mars conjunct Pluto, especially when it's next to Jupiter, is a bit of a signature, or a sinister signature. You know, these planets are operating a bit like a dark group of gangsters here when they're all together. They look a bit like thugs. And Capricorn is the planet of government, social institutions, social structures, police, military, our careers. It's earth, it's density, right? Saturn moves into Aquarius on the 22nd, and we're going to get to that in a second. But I just want to show you that Mars continues on its course and goes and conjuncts Saturn when it moves into Aquarius. So we can see that all throughout this month, these planets are all together. So the energies are going to be intense for the remainder of this month, which brings me to the next question. When can we expect these energies to dissipate and ease off? Well, we see mid-April, Mars and Saturn start to move away from one another, but Pluto and Jupiter are still pretty close. So what I'm seeing as the next time we can expect energies to slow down is end of April, when Pluto goes retrograde, and then into mid-May when we have Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus turn retrograde. So for review, retrograde is a time of retraction. It's a time of going inward. It's a time of slowing down, gathering more information, strategizing, reflecting, receding. These energies are like a wave, and right now they're all going forward, and they're going forward close together until mid-May. And then we start to see late April through mid-May, the energies start to recede. So mid-May is when I think we're really going to start to get a breather and a break. It is when things are going to start to, quote unquote, slow down, because they won't be moving forward. But what we need to remember is that all of those planets are going to start to go direct again in September. So I do see the middle of this year as being less intense, but we're not out of the woods, because when these guys move forward, so will a lot of the themes that we see emerge over the next month and a half. So I do want to tell you that it will slow down, but this is the dawning of a new age, guys. We're here. We don't need to talk about this like it's this time looming in the future anymore. We are here. This is 2020. It is the dawning of a new era, is the breakdown and dismantling of an old system, an old government, and the emergence of a new one. It's a birthing process. Birth is messy. It's painful. It's confusing. It's scary at times. And these energies aren't going to back off completely anytime soon, to be real honest with you. And it's more about really using astrology, this incredible gift that we have, as a tool to figure out where we fit in this grand story taking place, and not to cower and wonder, oh God, just tell me when it's over so I can come out. No, it's time to come out. That's what this whole thing is about. And we'll get to that more when we talk about the new moon, because the new moon is in Aries, which is, it's a new moon. It's a time for new beginnings. And Aries is about our personal identity and how it works with all of this. So let's talk about Saturn moving into Aquarius. And again, that's going to happen on the 22nd. So let's talk about the positives of Saturn in Aquarius for a second. So Saturn moving into Aquarius is a big deal, because that's the closing out, or the partial closing out, of Saturn in Capricorn. It is going to retrograde back into Capricorn this year for a short time. But this is the first taste that we get of Saturn in Aquarius. And Aquarius rules community. It rules coming together. It rules global family, galactic family, off-planet influences, astronomy, astrology, deep space, technology, innovation, discovery. It rules all things humanitarian, right? Human rights, animal rights, charity, protests. Aquarius is the archetype of collective revolution and rebellion. It rules the new age, the new earth, the new vision. So having Saturn move into Aquarius brings in this new earth, new age energy, where we can expect that people will start to feel inspired to begin coming together to come up with solutions to global issues and concerns, which is what we need, right? I think that we can expect to see a lot more people get interested in astrology coming up here soon. Just this week, I've had a few people reach out to me and tell me, you know, I was a skeptic, but a few people that were casually following me on my Instagram. By the way, I am on Instagram. If you don't already know, I do weekly and bi-monthly reports. I put a lot of information on astrology in my Instagram story. You can find me on there at earth_2_coyote. I'll put that up on the screen there. But I had a couple of people reach out to me on Instagram and say, you know, I've been following you and I didn't really believe in astrology, but you know, you've been saying that this was going to happen and now it's here and it's so crazy. I can't believe it. And maybe there's something to this. Maybe astrology isn't quite as woo-woo as I thought, right? So that's very exciting. And along with astrology, I think that a lot of other similar spiritual sciences and new information. Aquarius is an air sign, so Saturn will be moving away from Earth where it's dense and it's fixed in its views into Aquarius, which is air, which rules mental expansion and third eye awakening. So this is very exciting, having Saturn move into Aquarius, but we also need to look at the dark side of Saturn in Aquarius, because all of these signatures have a equal light and equal dark. So let's look at the dark of Saturn in Aquarius. Well, Aquarius rules technology, okay? And Saturn rules government and systems of authority. So let's also look at the fact that when Saturn moves into Aquarius, it will be in light square to Uranus in Taurus. Uranus is the planet of revolution, change, rebellion, and awakening. It rules Aquarius. So similar themes that we were just talking about. Saturn is government, tradition, and rules and regulations. So having these two in square, which is a 90-degree angle, which illustrates a tension point between the two planets, a conflict of interest. If this was a chessboard, they're battling one another here. So this is the age-old tug of war, push and pull between convention, Saturn, and revolution, Uranus. So are we clear on that? That's the old way of doing things, the new way of doing things. Saturn is the old way, Uranus is the new way, okay? Now, Saturn being authority in Aquarius, which rules tech, I see this as being where we can start to see where those in authority may use technology, Aquarius, to block or restrict revolution, change, and rebellion, Uranus and Taurus. So we need to really be paying attention March 22nd and into April when Saturn moves into Aquarius at what starts emerging around issues that involve authority and how authority uses technology. So I'm talking about FIVEG network, which, you know, is anybody concerned about the fact that it's being rolled out without anyone's consent, without there being any funding going towards empirical research to see what effect this could have on the human body, the human system, our children, our schools, our society, etc.? We need to be looking at what starts to emerge around internet censorship. It's already happening this week. All these articles are getting taken offline about the virus and things. And I was reading this article, I think it was Google, was saying, oh yeah, we had to send a bunch of our people home, so our censoring programs are on auto right now, so we might accidentally be taking down things that shouldn't be taken down. Okay, well, yeah, I don't think that's probably exactly true. And I think that unfortunately with this square from Saturn, we need to be hyper vigilant about our rights to share information, particularly when it comes to questioning the motives of those in power. So these are things like facial recognition, privacy control, biotech, vaccinations. Aquarius rules science and medical innovation. Who's funding vaccinations if they come out? Where do their interests lie? Who do they work for? Who are they with? We need to start doing some digging here. Aquarius rules people coming together, and it's interesting with this global crisis we're facing. There's all this social distancing happening, and people aren't allowed to gather in large crowds, etc., which I find very interesting. So this is the darker side of this placement, and Saturn and Uranus will come into their direct square at the beginning of 2021. So the way these cycles work, as we will see the themes emerge at the end of this month, when they come into their light square, then Saturn's going to go retrograde. It's going to ease off. But then when Saturn moves forward in the fall, end of September, it will start to come back into that square with Uranus. That will be exact beginning of 2021. And that's when we're really going to see this tug of war take place. So again, we need to stay vigilant. We need to take an active role in getting access to this type of information. Let's look at this new moon coming up here on the 24th. So it's a new moon in Aries at 4 degrees. The sun and the moon are at 4 degrees, but we see that Chiron in Aries is there as well. So this is a wounded moon, unfortunately. So Chiron in Aries represents the wounded warrior or the wounded masculine. And I'm not talking about gender here. I'm talking about masculine energies. So what is the wounded masculine? What is the wounded warrior? The wounded warrior is barbaric, aggressive, vicious, looking for a fight, looking for conflict. It's primal, it's bloodthirsty, it's in over survival mode. So it can create conflict where there doesn't need to be conflict. It's like an increase in testosterone. It's the guy that goes from bar to bar looking for a fight, right? It's out there looking to cause an issue. It's looking to defend itself unnecessarily. So we're already seeing that happen. People fighting over toilet paper, people clearing the shelves in a frenzy at the grocery store and leaving nothing for others. It's this every man, every woman for themselves type of energy that kicks in when people feel their survival threatened, their lives threatened. It puts us into this fight or flight scenario. And then we also have people fighting on the internet about who's right and who knows what's actually going on. And people are getting vicious out there. So we see that energy coming in this new moon. Also remembering that Chiron in Aries is the wound of the collective ego. Especially as we see economic situations shifting and fluctuating and people having to come home from their jobs or losing their jobs. or seeing their finances fluctuate, their identity, if it is too heavily attached to those things, their identity is being threatened. So this is like a collective ego death. So let's talk about the positive, the balanced warrior. The balanced warrior defends the weak. The balanced warrior defends the innocent, fights for justice. The balanced warrior doesn't needlessly seek drama, but will fight for what's right if need be. The balanced warrior is brave, centered, can think rationally, can strategize under stress, and can focus on what needs to be done despite turmoil externally and internally. So this is like the eye of the storm. The warrior can make others feel safe in a time of crisis. So this Chiron influence on this moon is asking us to heal the fractures in the identity that are emerging as a result of everything that's happening, remembering that Mars is the ruler of this chart for this new moon because Mars rules Aries. And Mars is over there sandwiched between Saturn and Pluto during this really intense time, and people are having their fears and their wounds exposed. And this new moon is calling for healing so that we can become the warrior during these times, so that we can fight for justice when it's called for, but not cause unnecessary drama, not get too defensive, too anxious, too vicious in the meantime. And we do have some positive aspects with this new moon. We have Mercury and Uranus trine and sextile the north and south node. Mercury in Pisces, which is connected to spirit, has a imagination, can connect to the higher plan and see above the chaos. And we have Uranus, the planet of revolution and change, propelling us toward that north node in Cancer, which is about getting more in touch with our actual emotional needs, with our actual emotional selves. This has been a huge awakening for a lot of people about what's actually important, right? This whole crisis with this sickness has made, I think, people really come home to what they actually care about. And it's also really it's leveling the playing field. It's illuminating where we've become too alienated, where we've lost our sense of what's truly important to us. And it's having this global effect where we're starting to connect more as an earth, because we know that something had to happen that was going to affect each and every single person on a personal level before everyone cared. So that's exactly what's happening. And it's going to accelerate this awakening process really rapidly. And it is, this isn't Armageddon. We're going to come out of this okay, but it's a birthing process. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen quickly, and it doesn't happen quietly. And it is traumatic, but we really need to now step up into our warrior role and into our individual roles and be a part of this new reality that's being created as the old one gets torn down. And if you want to know what that role is, look at your North Node. Look at your North Node. That's what you're here to evolve into. That's your mission on this earth. And then look at your south node. That's what you're moving away from. That's what you need to let go of. That's the beauty of this art science. I mean, I love all of it, but for those of you that have had a reading with me, you know that we focus on those nodes because I think that that's what this chart, your natal chart, is for, really, at the end of the day, because Creator knew that it was going to be confusing as fuck down here. I'm just going to say it. We've got programming, we've got distraction, we've got the society that we were born into, and all of these things that distract us from our life mission. And the chart is your map home to what that is. And if you're aligned with that, then none of this other stuff really matters at the end of the day. So let these energies really strip down what's actually important to you. And as far as health goes, if you are concerned about your immune system, or if you are concerned about somebody else who may be immunocompromised, I do want to share with you two of my favorite immune support herbs. You can get them at Sprouts, Whole Foods, any kind of like health food store. You can order them online. The first one is olive leaf extract. I like Gaia Herbs. I like that company a lot, but olive leaf extract, I've been taking it every day for years. I never get sick. If I feel like I'm getting sick and I load up on this stuff, it knocks it out. The other one is oil of oregano. Oil of oregano, make sure it's organic. And this is another great immune support. Antiviral, antifungal, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-diabetic, and cancer suppressing agent found in oregano oil. Really amazing stuff. Get those two, olive leaf extract or olive leaf and oil of oregano, and you're going to be good to go. And if you want my personal opinion, stop eating meat and sugar and dairy, because that really suppresses the immune system as well. And yeah, stay safe out there, guys. I know that things are crazy. We are on one hell of a ride, but Lord knows we wanted it to be interesting here on Earth, right? And like I said, this isn't the end of days. It's the end of a certain type of days, that's for sure. But we're going to pull through this new vision. We really are. We've just got to hang on tight through the labor pains while we birth this new time. If you guys would like to reach out to me for a reading, you're more than welcome to do so. I will put my website up there on the screen. It's coyotestarastrology.com. Click on book a reading, and that will direct you where to get in contact with me. We can set something up. And if you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and a share. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Talk to you soon.